They provide the latest updates on legislation affecting North Carolina, from breaking down key bills to answering your live call-in questions. Senator Sawyer and David engage in meaningful conversations on the issues that matter most to our state. No matter your political affiliation, We're Just Saying keeps you informed and involved in the efforts to make North Carolina a better place for everyone. Welcome to the conversation.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is Senator Vickie Sawyer talking really too close to the microphone and a little too loud. Billy, you're supposed to smack me around when that happens. Oh, Lord, Billy. So now this is absolutely going off the rails. You know why? Because David's not here. It's because David Coble is helping his lovely wife. And so he is not here, but I think I've got someone bigger and better.
You think?
No.
Who do you think it is?
Well, it's this fella over here smiling and grinning from the great state of Wilkes, North Carolina. We have Senator Eddie Settle. Yay!
Thank you, Vickie, for the kind welcome.
Well, thank you for being here because, it's just not fun playing by yourself.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Always need friends to come in and play on the radio with you. So, Eddie, thank you. Now, Eddie, for our listening audience, now, you don't know, we're kind of big time now. Like, we go all the way from Statesville to Cherokee, North Carolina, and parts beyond. And so, actually, those are your people.
Mountain folk, that is my people.
Yeah?
And a lot of the Scotch Irish and the Cherokee Nation.
Yeah?
We love all those people.
And you know what other people are? A little girl named Charlotte who's behind us.
Little Charlotte is with me, my granddaughter. She's 2 years old, and I'm sure you can hear her in the background.
Yeah. So, Charlotte, welcome to radio, darling. Charlotte is a miracle baby. And I don't know, I don't want to say too much, but she was touch and go when she was first born. And now she is just 2 years old and smiling and doing amazing things. And I think some of it has to do with that grandmother of hers. Yeah, let's come around so our Facebook audience can see Miss Charlotte. And of course, the lovely Queen of the Senate, Sheila Settle. So if you ever want to talk to Eddie in his legislative office, or if you stop by, who do you see first?
Miss Sheila.
Miss Sheila. And Miss Sheila, we make sure is happy, right? Because if we have a happy Miss Sheila, we have a happy Senator Settle.
We had a group come through last year, and they wanted to see me, and I was listening to the conversation Miss Sheila was having with them at the door, and she just held her hand up and said, "No, we are pro-life. I'm sorry."
Okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something.
There you go.
Is that better? Well, not with the glasses.
I did that twice.
So for you listening audience, Eddie and I kind of were busy not doing show prep, and so we got talked all the way to the end, and then we put on our headsets, and Eddie's right ear set was not there. I'm sorry, Senator Settle. Senator Settle. So Senator Settle, you have been home. We've been home for a little bit. It's been nice. You've been working on the farm. So tell folks, what do you do with your farm?
Well, we've been bush hogging a lot of pasture land.
Yeah.
Taking care of a lot of fences, taking care of getting some scrub cattle up and taking them down here in Turnersburg.
Wait a minute. This is going to be my city slicker ways. What is a scrub cattle?
It's something that just doesn't make the grade. So.
Oh, that's like a 90s song. I don't want no scrub.
Pretty close. They don't make the grade, so they get taken to the sale.
So what happens to them after the sale?
Well, you may be eating them sometime.
So wait a minute. So they're not good enough for what? So you're good enough to eat, but they're not good enough for?
Well, they could if you wanted to feed them out and take more feed to feed a scrub cow out than it does a good one. A good one will gain a lot more weight, get a lot bigger, and you'll have a much better ribeye.
Oh, okay. Now I know what a scrub cow is. And listening audience, you do too. That's why you're listening to the show for all kinds of things. Okay, so you got your scrub. So because you have Settle Beef Company, or how do you say it?
Settle Cattle Company.
Yes.
And we've got a Benham meat processing, which we process our own animals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally farm to table. You can come to the pasture and see the animal you'll be eating.
but no
in
scrubs.
a few weeks. We won't, no,
You ain't
no
gonna see no
scrub, no
scrubs.
scrub.
Okay, no scrubs.
Just-
So I can. Okay, so wait a minute. I am not that city that I don't know where meat comes from. I get it, right? Okay, I get it. But you're saying I can go like a lobster tank at the old Red Lobster, and I can look at a cow and I'll say, Eddie and Sheila, I want that cow.
You could look at a steer and say, that's the steer I want.
Uh huh.
And we can take care of the rest of that.
Okay, so let me ask another question. How do you know you want that steer? Like, what do you do when you look at a cow to know that it's going to taste good?
Well, now my mom, she says, I don't want to see any of them. You just bring me the steak and the meat,
Yeah.
put it in the freezer.
I mean, I
don't wanna-
might
I don't want
kind of
to
agree with your
I don't
mom.
want to see it.
Yeah.
So, but you could, but they're all natural. Everything's grass fed. We
Mhm.
finish ours on corn, and I've got some friends that have cattle that we use some of theirs also
Mhm.
in Alexander County.
And then you process it yourself, and that's something you started. What a new business when you got into Raleigh, correct? Or
Well, when I got to Raleigh, I sold our printing company. It was just takes a lot of time.
Mhm.
And I'd had it for 30 years, and it was sad to sell it because my dad had it for 30 years before.
Wow.
And so we sold that, and I had opportunity to buy this plant. And my son wanted to buy it, and he wanted to get into that. So that was what that just fit hand in hand with the farm.
I love it. Well, it's just nice. So if you want locally grown, grass fed, finished with corn, no scrub cows,
That's right. No scrubs.
then look at Settle Cattle Company. But do you deliver? Do you have a website?
We do. We deliver. My son delivers.
Mhm.
We also have got what we call a summer box,
Mhm.
and it's a medium sized box of steak and burger, and he delivers it to you.
Okay, well, I'm
Dry
gonna have to do
ice.
that. Yeah, you can go online.
You can go online, settlecattlecompany.com, and order it and pay for it online,
Okay,
and we can ship it anywhere.
nice,
You're like the local Omaha steaks.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but better.
but better.
Yeah, but local.
Local from
Yeah.
the great state of Wilkes.
Yeah. Well, you sent a picture of, I guess you were in the barn maybe last week. You had a big old steer that was fussing around or whatever. And I love it. Now I don't know. Now, guys, so we have folks who listen to us from Raleigh and across North Carolina, and some of them weren't from around these parts, right? So if you're not from around these parts, you may not have understood what Eddie was saying. So Eddie, when he's calling after this steer to get, he's like, get on over here. Do it.
We were running him down the aisle, and it was a bull. And
Oh,
he-
okay.
And he was a bad bull. And I told my son, I said, now, if he turns on us, we've got to climb the wall because he's mean. And he looked back one time, and I said, get on out of here.
Now he's saying that nicely for the radio. It was really, really like
Well,
almost deliverance moment because you could hear the scaredness in his voice a little bit.
I didn't want to be climbing the walls.
But you were
I'm
ready.
getting too old to climb.
Well, it is kind of nice though that we've been home. You've been on the ranch or farm. Did you call it a ranch when it's cattle?
No, I just got a farm.
Farm?
Just
Okay.
got a farm.
All right. Well, it's not a scrub farm. It's a good farm. And so make sure to go check out that company and get yourself some burgers and
Yeah, we appreciate it.
yeah. Uh-huh. Well, there was one. I can't tell a story. We had a fellow senator who had ordered some of your product and he said it. Were you there that night? He said, it's really good, Eddie. I love it. He said, but what do you do with the kebab and the beef steaks? I was like, you make kebabs and you make beef stew.
We did. I had two senators that bought a whole beef and they split it. And of course, they got kebabs and beef stew, steaks, burger, roast, everything. And he got down to the kebabs and what do we do with this?
Well,
It was funny.
I know it was great. It was great. Well, on the other hand, now we've got a caller calling in about 4 minutes, and someone that you know, but I don't know them. I don't think I've met him personally, but it's going to be interesting to talk about. But he, like you've been on the farm, I've been in the insurance office. And let me tell you, I haven't been job ready like that in a while. Because when we're in Raleigh, I mean, you start at 7, we used to go try to eat breakfast, try to get together. I mean, and it's just like constantly going. Well, I also have somebody who answers the phone for me and helps me. But in the insurance office, I have been, because we're shorthanded, I have been first on phone for 2 weeks. Whoo, insurance is not fun right now. Let me tell you, there are some mad mamas out there. It is rough, but it's been nice to get back to hear from people. And you know what else was kind of cool? It was nice to hear from customers because they were like, we've been watching you. You're doing such a good job. Thank you for your service. And it was so nice because it's people like sometimes when you're in the Senate, a lot of what you hear is just people who are mad and they're calling you in or talking to you upset and frustrated or just not saying nice things to you unless they're a lobbyist and they're paid to do that. Like they are paid to laugh at all your jokes.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll have to pay you afterwards for this though. Thank you for laughing at my jokes. So, but here it was refreshing to get back and talk to real people with real problems, and it was fed my soul. How about you?
It's nice to get home and people say thank you for what you're doing, but I've had a couple that that are on the other team that's not as happy, but they're really not that. I mean, one come up to me and he said, "Let me look at your head." He said, "You don't have any horns, do you?" I said, "No." He said, "That's how they portray you on social media." So my gun bill SB 50,
Yeah.
which a lot of them were against it, and he said, "They're really laying it to you, man. About you. Let me see if you got any horns on your head." I said, "No, there's no horns." And he said, "Well, the governor has vetoed it," and I said, "Yes, he has." And I talked to the governor one day. I said, "You've got some ink pens there. You need to use those things. Use them. We'll send you some good stuff. Just put your name on it." So anyway,
we do need to talk about that bill after we have our caller because Senate Bill 50, when he says SB, that means Senate Bill. Senate Bill 50 is for repeal of the.
It's a constitutional carry where you can carry now open anywhere in North Carolina. But if you put a coat on and you have covered, and that's illegal. And this gives you opportunity to you can put it in your pocket or wherever with a holster. And 29 states already have this in place, including Vermont, several
interesting
liberal states up north, and it's just common sense.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, well, not common to everybody. We'll talk about that after we have. But I do want to welcome our caller to the show, Brandon Barnes. So Brandon is calling in. He is the owner of Capital Games in Raleigh, and he has been in the gaming business since he was in his teens, which I don't know that I really should say that on the radio because I'm not sure what that means. But he has hundreds of pinball machines and arcade games all across North Carolina. But we're really not talking about gaming. We're talking about a service fee that hits most everybody in the business community, call in swipe fees. So before we get into whatever a swipe is, not a swag, let me welcome Brandon Barnes to the radio. Thank you for calling in.
Sawyer, it's nice to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank
is
you.
Is Eddie still on here?
He is.
Senator Settle, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you making?
Oh, pretty good.
Well, Brandon, thank you so much for calling in, and thank you for having Senator Settle pinch in with us. But when a friend of ours, a mutual friend, had sent me a picture of you to remind me who you were, but I mean, I was like, I don't need no reminding because you're kind of a big deal. It had a picture of Eddie Settle in the picture, and I was like, well, that's cool. They already know each other. Now, how do you guys know one another? Just being around from the mountains?
We were in Milwaukee at the GOP convention. Todd Johnson,
yep.
and Zach Almond, Brandon, and we went to a couple of little events. I think one day we went to Chicago to have a slice of pizza, and it was, I don't know how far it is from Milwaukee to Chicago. And when I got in the car, Mr. Brandon leaned up there and turned the heat control on my seat, and I didn't know it. Do you remember that, Brandon?
I remember that very well, and I remember you were too stubborn to admit that somebody got you, and you rode for about an hour and 15 minutes with a maxed out heated seat on and didn't say a word about it.
I didn't let him know.
Oh, hey, I love that story. Now we know what kind of constitution this man is made of. So he got it. Well, Brandon,
That was a good trip.
I know you're enjoying memory lane as well as I am with Senator Sutherland. Y'all can continue on, but you also want to see some things change. And when our mutual friend had reached out to me about this, similar to like if you were listening to the beginning of the show, I really didn't know what that type of cow was. What is a swipe fee? What I mean, to kind of just go from like talk to me like I'm in kindergarten, like what is a swipe fee?
So swipe fees, a charge. Um, every time you use a credit card, there's a swipe fee charged to the marketer. So if you go to the convenience store and you get a bag of chips and a soda, you get charged a percentage swipe fee. Strange thing is, everyone knows how credit cards make money, and it's normally on interest rates hooked to the credit card. Well, most people don't realize that there is a fee charged by the credit cards every time you use it. And the way credit cards are used now, the frequency of use, I mean, almost nobody carries cash. It's basically a tax. You get hit with a few percent every time you use it. And it's painful for a lot of businesses. It's become the second highest operating expense line item, thanks to Visa and MasterCard. So,
yeah, Brandon, they normally run like 3 to 4%. Isn't that about right? Most of them.
that's correct, and it can go upwards of that. Really, one of the bigger issues also is they'll give volume discounts. So the larger retailers, Walmarts and people like that, get a better rate.
Okay.
So it hurts small businesses even more because they can't compete with those rates.
That's true. And I had a printing business, also had a frame shop and studio, and we had several things in there, and even had a tanning salon at one time. And we got to where we would have to charge the customer to stay. If you're going to use a credit card, it's going to be whatever it was. And there's a large market for that, and a lot of companies doing that other than banks. So it does it hurts. It can hurt a small business.
Yeah. So what would you?
That's why you didn't.
Go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry.
I was just going to tell Eddie that's why he didn't say anything about that heated seat, is because he was used to being in that tanning bed.
You didn't see me in a tanning bed, brother.
Well, what is the alternative? Okay, so I'm a small business and I'm opening up a tanning bed salon, and so then I go and I obviously need to accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express. Is Discover even a thing anymore? I guess. So do I deal directly with those companies, or do I deal with a middleman between the business and the company? Like, who do I call to sign up for this stuff to accept credit cards?
There's normally a middleman, so you get set up with the credit card equipment and that type stuff, but those fees are normally paid directly to them. So the equipment and the machinery you need to accept the credit cards, they may take a little piece also.
Okay.
But to accept, the major credit cards is a major expense, and it's only gotten to be more. It's almost tripled in the past decade.
Wow.
Which is huge.
Yeah, it is huge.
It started out as a convenience for the customer, with the credit card. And then it's grown, and it's a huge business now. And there are companies all over the world trying to get your credit card business. And we used to have calls just daily, coming, wanting to make a deal and provide the equipment and machines and things. And if you don't have that, people will leave sometimes. Yeah. They're not going to pay you with cash or whatever.
So you have different companies that are trying to be the middleman, but you still have to pay the man, the Visa and MasterCard, the swipe fee. Is that what I'm hearing? Like 3 to 4%. Is that correct? And you have no option. Okay.
That's correct. And just in 2023, North Carolina alone, swipe fees totaled over $2.9 billion.
Oh, 2.9 billion
So
with a B.
with a B. And for the United States, I think it was just under 100 billion, and it's going up every year. And all that is middleman in the money. I mean, if you paid cash,
Mhm.
you know, technically you wouldn't be responsible for that swipe fee.
Right.
So they've just got in the middle of, they've got in between the customer and the merchant for taking a little chunk out every time you use your credit card.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So now you as being a small business owner, or entrepreneur or hot seat extraordinaire, you would like to see a change in this. And what do you think would bring about change? Is it going to be at the federal level to do some sort of, put some guardrails around this type of thing? Is it to introduce some kind of market disruptor like a Bitcoin, or is it to just basically to demonopolize this whole industry? What do you would like to see happen to help the small businesses with this?
Um, there's a bill up, the Credit Card Competition Act, and what that does is it would give merchants at least two different networks to choose from. You wouldn't just be forced with Visa and MasterCard. Visa and MasterCard together hold over 80% of the market. And they're the biggest names.
Mm-hmm.
This bill would allow the merchant to choose better rates or whatever their business would work better with,
Mm-hmm.
which honestly would come down to a lower percentage normally. Competition spurs better deals for the consumer, and it may be able to lower prices for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a merchant, if you get billed, you build that into your pricing when you build your customers. So
Yeah.
this act would allow for better prices and no monopoly anymore.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there's something needs to be done, because I understand, as an insurance provider, or an agent that works with a company, that was a whole big thing. They wouldn't even accept credit cards for payments until just a few years ago, because they could never work it out. And so now they just do a service fees, like you said, for so many more. And so this is really hitting home for me, because I run everything through our credit card every month and then pay it off, because I like points. But I've noticed that those points are getting fewer. Like, I get more points, but they have less buying power. So I definitely agree that we do need some competition in this space.
Mhm. We do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so this is a bill that was enacted, or excuse me, is being debated by Congress. So it didn't make it into the big, beautiful bill, I see. Um,
Correct.
but we definitely want to continue to advocate and to see if what we could do to bust up that monopoly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Brandon, is there anything else you'd like to tell the listening audience while we have you on the hot mic?
I
Not in the
think
hot
that
seat.
pretty well covers it.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, Eddie, is there anything you would like to say bye to your dear friend here?
He was a mountain boy at one time, and
Yep.
moved down to the flatland.
Well,
He was.
yeah. Well,
He and his wife both. I guess they got smart.
well, thank you so much for calling into the show. We're just saying, I appreciate you bringing this very enlightening topic to mine and to our listening audience, and look forward to having you back on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Eddie, it's good to hear from you.
You too.
I'll give you a
brother.
call a little later.
Have a good day. We'll get together.
Y'all too.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Well, so the kind of nice thing about me with insurance is because we're awesome, but also it's because well, really, truly, when it comes to the taking of payments and billing, the insurance company handles
Mhm.
all of that stuff. So I don't get into the minutia of, I know Billy, like you're looking at here as a station owner, who's also our engineer extraordinaire. He understands this very well. You understand this problem very well. And it sounds like it's a 2.9 or almost $3 billion industry just in North Carolina alone.
100 billion in the United States, and we're opening a farm store, and that's an option that we're going to have to put in there, because most people just don't carry cash. I've got a friend that owns a very successful restaurant, and he put an ATM in because he didn't want to take cards.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he just had to do it. He just had to do it. And that means he had to go up on his prices to compensate for that 3 to 4%.
Mm-hmm. Now, so can I put on my evil overlord credit card company hat?
Put it on.
Okay. So I can imagine the pushback is, well, we wouldn't have to charge as much money if there wasn't so much waste, fraud, and abuse with the credit card system, and that we use this because we are doing financial protection for your transactions and making sure that, I mean, like right now, I've got a Starbucks thing that hit on my card, and I'm gonna have to cancel and pull it all back out. But they're really good about eating the cost and then, giving me a replacement card. And so I guess is that in quote insurance portion to every transaction. But what we're hearing is they probably could do it, but just not for 3 or 4%.
Well, 3 to 4%, that's a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the overall picture.
Mm-hmm.
2.9 billion in North Carolina.
Yeah.
They're making, I mean, they make money in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
The bank used to just be interest. And
Yeah.
now there's lots of fees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to my daughter about interest the other day, and so she's renting a place. The first time she's rented on her own, and she was like, "I just hate paying this rent. I'm going to save enough money to buy a house. I just hate this rent. I'm making somebody else rich." I said, "Babe, when you get that first mortgage statement and you see how much you're paying that bank for the interest, you're going to always be making somebody else rich."
Oh my goodness, all this inflation now. I'm going to Pinehurst to play with some of my golf buddies, and they're in the construction business, and they said, well, it's about $300 to $350 a square foot now to build a house. I said, are you serious? Yeah.
Wow.
And my nephews, I've got a couple want to move back to Elkin. A lot of the Wilkes, Elkin, Surrey folks, they moved to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Mooresville, Charlotte, down this way, near the water, the lake, the city. And they're having children, so they want to move back. And they said, man, we can't even find anywhere to live, and to build a house is about out of the question now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
Inflation has really driven it up.
Yeah, it really has. Well, we are going to take a break, and we're going to be back with some amazing, fantastic radio. So you make sure to continue to listen in to Senator Settle and Senator Sawyer, the double S's, bringing it to you today here on WAME.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Bravo, Brenda. You've always been a saver. Price matching your price matches. The self-proclaimed queen of extreme couponing. But this time, you've truly outdone yourself. By saving for this electric vehicle, you're locking in up to $1,000 a year in fuel and maintenance savings, which will leave you saying, cha-ching, every time you unplug. Good for your wallet, great for the planet. That's the power of EV. Sponsored by the NC Clean Energy Technology Center and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with this station.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station. We all want more for North Carolina. more boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying on WAME Radio, here with Senator Vickie Sawyer and the one, the only Senator Eddie Settle from the great state of Wilkes County. How are you doing again? We made it through the break.
We're good, thank you.
And something interesting, I know we got a little deep about scrub cow, but we also got a little deep about beef tallow.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like the new in thing that people want the fat from the cow so that they can render it down to use it as cooking oil.
They do. I've got a friend, mayor of Mount Airy, and he's been calling me to save him some beef fat, and so we saved him 2 big bags, and anyway, we had a storm come through and compromised my freezer, and we've lost that. But I'll save him some more. But I guess people are using it, and
didn't you say it was a Robert Kennedy thing, or
Robert Kennedy is promoting this, and it's an all natural. It's just beef fat.
All right. So I mean, the one-stop shop for all things cattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just cook it down and put your fries in there.
That's pretty interesting. Thank you for allowing me to ask you this type of questions. I'm sure folks don't really need to know all of that, but I do. I have an inquisitive mind. I want to know. It's interesting to me. But you know what else is very inquisitive that we don't have to wonder about anymore?
What?
The one thing that Republicans will actually be proud of that CNBC said.
Number one. We're number one again. That's right. Number one. We've been, Vickie, correct me. We've been number one. Is it 4 of the last 6 years or 3 of the last 5 years?
Well, I'm not going to correct you, but I will look at my very detailed show prep. And it said that North Carolina finished first in 2022 and 2023 from CNBC. Yes, that is CNBC. and we came in second in 21 and 24. So anyways, we've been right at the top of the herd, the herd of states for years. It's pretty cool.
And I noticed this morning that we got an A- in education from MSNBC.
No, really?
We did.
You were okay. No way.
I got the find.
What is going on with these legacy liberal news medias who like North Carolina? Wait a minute. What is there a conspiracy going on?
I was changing oil.
Oh my God! Do you know?
Said, did you see that? No, an A-. That's great.
I wonder how many NEA members are weeping in their coffee this morning because the state is now touted by MSNBC. Oh my gosh. Okay, that CNBC ranks North Carolina number one for business, gives state an A. Oh, it's A- in education. Bam. So that's exactly what thank you for that. So CNBC also said, and I picked that out to talk about it, that we ranked 6th in education across the 50 states.
Pretty good.
That's pretty dang good.
I think it's excellent.
Yeah.
An A-.
I mean,
that's not to Senator. Sorry, her standards, she was top of the class, but you know.
Oh no. I was at the top of the class. Actually, it was number 2. I still harbor ill will for the grading system. I was in AP Calculus. The valedictorian was in AP Chorus, and her A+ got me to number 2, where my A- in AP Chemistry got me to number 2. That's jacked up, right? She made that
at the top. She's at the top.
She made that speech, and she's the sweetest lady, I'm sure. And I hope she's wealth and wellness and everything. But she was making that speech, and I was snarling the whole time. I was so mad. Okay, but just like snarling, like some of the liberal folks who think we're the worst in education is after the CNBC thing said we came out 6th in overall education. That's freaking awesome.
Well, I think we've been doing a good job, and it was a good job before I got there.
Yeah.
I go all the way back to 2010, when North Carolina was like 8.5 billion in debt to the federal government. We were like the California of the West Coast, and they started cutting taxes and paying off these debts, and now we're I don't know. I've been 5 billion in rainy day fund, and tax, and your personal income tax was 8.5% in 2010, and now it's 3.99.
It will go to 3.99. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got certain triggers that we still try to meet so we can lower those taxes. And that's what we do, and it makes me proud to be a part of this legislation.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Me too. Now you're also very, I talk about the cow company, and you're obviously doing an awesome job as a senator, but you really have a heart for education because you have coached many championship football team. Now, I don't understand why you're number one fan of Alabama when you're a North Carolina boy. I don't even understand. I mean, like I drive up, I see a North Carolina state senator with an Alabama like shirt. I mean, like in every color. And on the back of his beautiful black SUV, how in the world are you an Alabama fan when you're from North Carolina?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, brother. I get that a lot. And my dad coached before I coached 26 years, and my dad coached before me when young, and he played football for Elkin High School, and he loved Bear Bryant. Well, I was a kid, and he said, "Son, we don't pull for anything above the Mason-Dixon line, especially Notre Dame." And he loved Bear Bryant, so I just followed, And then when and Nick Saban comes in, and we're trying, and my kids, I'd have 50 kids up there, and I say, "Hey guys, can y'all give me a Roll Tide?" "No, sir, coach. No, we're from North Carolina. It's Wolfpack. It can be something else, but nothing Alabama." But I've always liked them, and they play to win, and that's just much more fun to win.
Yeah.
But I do think that I went down to Carolina on the tour. I think the University of North Carolina are putting things in order. They want to compete. State's always been a pretty competitive program, and Duke has had a good coach and had a good year or two. But you've got to love the kids, and that's what I did it for. I love the kids, and
Clemson.
No, sir. No, sir. I've been down there. I went and I saw the graveyard, and Alabama's name was in the graveyard twice. I have seen that.
Well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I have extensive football knowledge. I've talked about it many times on the phone on the radio, how terribly I don't know. But I do know that when our text group starts zinging through about sports, it is Chapel Hill versus NC State, and it is hot. I can't even believe you said something about going to see Chapel Hill. Did you get to see Bill Belichick?
I did.
You did? Did you shake his hand?
I did.
Is he taller than he looks like in person, or is he about?
Nah,
I mean, on TV.
No, he's I guess 6'1" or 2".
Yeah.
And his dad was at Carolina. I didn't know that.
Oh no, I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. But they left when he was like 6 years old and went to, I think, the Naval Academy, and spent the rest of his life up there and in New York. But he was happy to be there, and his coaching style, I think, will fit with the NIL deals that they have now. And it's pretty exciting. I'd love to see somebody in the state win a lot, win it all. Get in the playoffs.
I do want to put you on the spot about something, and that when you say, and because just a personal opinion, not official senator's opinion, just a personal. I have heard both sides of this NIL conversation. Do you think NIL has ruined college football?
I do. I think it's hurt it bad, but I can see the other side. The Weber kid that played basketball for Michigan back in the 80s. I can't think of his name.
Was he the timeout kid?
That was him.
That was him.
He went to.
Was he amphibious?
He was big and he was good. I know that. I think he was awesome.
I think he was the one that had that famous thing about how he said he was amphibious and not ambidextrous.
he had a lot of little sayings, you know. But he,
Maybe I'm sorry to
he did
interrupt, I'm
play a
sorry.
lot, but he said he was at McDonald's, and he's a big guy. He's 6'9". He's looking for some change, you know, just so he could buy an extra burger. And he looked beside him, and there was a kid there with his jersey on, you know, and Michigan was making a lot of money on his name. So, you know, that's true. So you've got to look at that. They're making money off their names, but there's got to be a middle road somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah. Okay. I was
I
just
just
curious.
read
I know that guys kind of geek out about the NIL stuff, and it just
Well,
seems like
You're not playing for your university now. You're playing for that money.
Mhm. Isn't that kind of way society's kind of evolved anyways a little bit in
Yeah.
all regards? It seems like that team mentality is missing in some things, right? Where it feels like it's individualistic, and maybe that's the social media thing where folks are not a part of a team anymore. But you know what, Eddie? I'm going to digress a little bit. That's why I love our team, our Senate team.
Oh, I do too.
We really do.
We're red. That's what I used to tell my kids. We were the Cardinals, and you know we'd have all different colors of folks. And I said, but we're all red, guys.
Mhm.
That's why we're one.
Mhm.
We're one because we're all red. And I think in the Senate, in our body,
Mhm. Yeah.
in our caucus, it's the same way.
Yeah.
We may have a little disagreement in caucus, not agree on everything, and I'm
Mhm.
glad we do.
Yeah.
Because you can see everyone's issue and their side. And one time, it's been a long time, but one time I was wrong.
Oh, just once.
Sheila couldn't believe it, but I told her one time that I was wrong.
All right. Tell me how you were wrong.
I can't. It's been a long time
Oh,
ago.
you can't remember? No, but that's true. We do have a good team, and Eddie, we're going to move forward a little bit with some more from other news, but I do want to say my favorite Eddie Settle story. So Eddie is a freshman, which was, you know, 23. He sat right behind me on the floor. And so ceremonially, the first day of session, we always do a vote for the leader, right? And even the Democrats will most always vote unanimously for Senator Phil Berger, who's a great guy and he's doing a great job. And so everyone, just a vote of acclamation, ceremonial, like it's kind of like it's kind of like the first pitch of the game, right? So everybody's throwing out the first pitch, except for Eddie. Eddie hits the red button. And so you look up on the screen and you see all of our names in green, and there's the Settle name with a little red dot beside it. And I just started laughing. Eddie knows, and if he figures, I don't know if Sheila told you or somebody told you, like, hey, Eddie, you need to change your vote. So bless his heart, he'd not been on the floor really before. He didn't even know, well, he did know, but you never spoke on the floor. So the first time Senator Settle ever spoke on the Senate floor, he said this.
Yeah, I said I said mashed the wrong button. Obviously, it doesn't work.
But you should have seen some of those Durham Democrats. They were just like, what did that man just say? He mashed? What is he talking about? Mashed taters?
Well, Jill Perry texted me right away, and he said in Lenore County it's mashed also.
But some of those inner city Democrats did not know what to make of Senator Settle, but it's so fun. I'm sorry. I just had to tell the story. I love it so good. I just really, really do. But okay, so by the numbers, speaking of things that you mashed a lot of buttons on, we actually mashed some buttons on some legislation this session.
We did.
I mean, people keep on saying we didn't do a lot, but there was a lot that we got done.
A lot. Governor Stein has signed quite a few, and he's also vetoed quite a few, and I hope we can get back in there and get to work on some of that.
Yeah, you were very instrumental. Again, we were talking about Senate Bill 50, which is to allow for concealed carry of firearms for folks who are, is it 18 years old or 21? 18 years old. And then, so this would not take away the concealed carry class, because you would need your concealed carry permit if, say, I'm going to go from North Carolina to my favorite beach in the world, which is Sanibel, Florida, and I wanted to carry and I needed to go across state lines, you still would need a concealed carry, correct?
And if they're not, unless they're a constitutional carry state, and they're 29 now. I did have all of them. I know there's several up north,
Mhm.
which is highly unusual.
Mhm.
Vermont is one. Maine is one.
Mhm.
Of course, I don't think Maryland will ever be ever
Mhm.
go through there, but it just your constitutional rights to carry a firearm as a
Mhm.
legal, law-abiding citizen.
Mhm. Yeah, our sheriff Darren Campbell is got the one of the best things I think, and he's like the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
We I had my state championship track team, and I wanted to introduce them. So I took them to the house side where I got up on the balcony area, and there were two ladies behind me, and she saw my button. She said, "So are you against the gun bill?" And I said, "It's my gun bill." And they said, "Well, you're just going to kill people." I said, "How's that?" She said, "Because you're allowing people to carry guns." I said, "Ma'am, the bad guys are carrying the guns. They don't ask. They carry them anyway. And nobody that I know really wants to go kill anyone. They just want an opportunity to protect themselves. That's just your opportunity
Mhm.
because it can be a bad world out there."
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I have my concealed carry, and I do carry a little bit, but no, that's a good way of saying it. You know, you don't have to have it, and usually those folks who are carrying illegally are going to do bad things, right? I mean,
Yeah, they're not going to ask. They're going to carry those guns anyway, and it's just giving a legal, law-abiding citizen an opportunity to do that.
and so I see these things on and read a lot about this because I mean, quite honestly, I was concerned. I enjoyed my concealed carry class because basically I felt like it taught me how to kill somebody and get away with it. But so I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, that seems like that's going to come up at some point in my life. Please don't, please X that out. Okay, so anyways, I'm joking. I'm joking, but it did say, I don't know, it honestly did say like how to give you the tools to make sure that if the last resort, like firing your gun is the absolute last resort. And I thought it was really healthy to kind of give me the guardrails about when to, when not to, what to say. When is it the law about when you could be attacked, like that kind of stuff. I thought that was very, so, but I was reading, but to my point is when I was reading through, it was like, there really is no good data about if it helps or hurts. Like you read from one group and it says, if you repeal the concealed carry, do constitutional carry, it helps reduce crime. But then on the other side, you'll have another group and it says, oh, it makes crime go up. And it's like, it's so confusing. But it seems like of those 29 states, there really has either been a reduction in crime or violent crime or it stayed the same, right?
Well, a person that's going to attack someone, if they think they're weak anyway, and if they think you're not armed, I mean, they'll just do. I mean, you don't know what their mental state is, but
Mhm.
we see senators in Minneapolis and what's happened there, and we've had some colleagues that have
Mhm.
been not attacked, but they've been
Threatened.
threatened,
Mhm.
and that doesn't go lightly taken by the Capitol Police,
Mm-mm.
and it's just a crazy world out here. People stay angry a lot over just like raw milk and other things, and they can get angry and go get a gun, and it's just ridiculous.
So wait a minute. So can I get any scrub raw milk?
I don't have any raw milk.
All right, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know if you were the one who was behind all those gazillion, thousand, million emails. But remember, there was a young woman who was very upset about the way the committee procedure happened at the Senate, and she came and went and got her gun. And what'd she do? She came back in to talk about it.
She came in with a backpack with no gun and went to committee and got angry and went to the car and came back, tried to come back in with a gun,
Mhm.
didn't get very far.
Mhm.
And I don't know what has happened with that, but she was taken to jail.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have to have a few people on my watch list for the General Assembly Police and our local county sheriff because I mean, I don't play any. Like I said this before, I won't belabor the point, but I don't play anymore. Like I carry and I will call the cops.
All my families had concealed carry, and I'll continue. If we override or don't or whatever, I'll continue to keep my concealed carry.
Mhm.
You can buy guns if you have that, and I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
It's a good class.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I just encourage anybody to do, even
I
if you don't
do.
even get the gun, if you don't even buy a gun, it's nice to do. Okay, 2025 legislative session by the numbers. One of the bills that we did pass was Senate Bill 50 that your man right here to the left is one of the main sponsors of and supporters of, as we've heard. there were 107 Senate policy bills sent to the House. So you mashed that green button almost 107 times.
Pretty close. I don't know that, not sure every one of them, but I did most of them.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Maybe one, maybe.
I don't remember. You know, we can look it up.
Yeah, maybe one.
We'll have to see. Are you 99.9% of the time?
I'm pretty sure I vote with the caucus most of the time.
Yeah, we all do pretty much. Because we are a family and we try to stick together. 74% of the policy bills we sent to the House ultimately passed in some vehicle. That's pretty strong, right?
That is very strong.
Yeah.
That's a large percentage, 3/4 of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 60% of the time it works every time. Okay. So 74% of the policy bills we sent to the House ultimately passed to the same vehicle or in some vehicle in the Senate. So that means like take Senator Settle's bill, Senate Bill 50. Now he sent it over to the House, they sent it back and it passed, but it could be the same thing that he could have sent a bill over to the House. They would have take the language from his bill, put it in another bill, which they call a vehicle, basically, and send it back. So the idea lived, the bill may not have. So that's what that means in some vehicle. 7% of those policy bills are in conference committee. Conference committees can be fun.
They can be. I served on one of those.
Yeah, how'd it go?
It was fun.
Yeah.
A little back and forth.
Yeah. It is fun.
But I
right?
enjoyed it.
Me too. Because you get a chance to sit and look at the House face to face. You figure out the 90% you can agree on. You leave the 10% for the next day to come back and figure it out. And then you move on, right?
You do.
Yeah.
Great. It was good.
It was good. So the Senate put together 32 omnibus bills, which omnibus just means, I don't know, all of it. I don't know, you guys did the insurance omnibus bill, right? That means you just put a bunch of, it's kind of like a Happy Meal. You can have a bill that just has a burger, or you can have a Happy Meal that has the cookie and the, fries and milkshake and all that other stuff together. So that's what an omnibus bill is, like a Happy Meal bill.
And I know you chair DOT and I co-chair with Commerce and Insurance, and Senator Johnson is in the insurance business. And so Danny, Senator Britt, and myself, we work together in there, and he's got the information that goes in the omnibus bill, and they're huge, and it's a lot of work. A lot of people. I mean, a lot of work and a lot of reading, and then sometimes you may not understand. I call Senator Johnson. What does this mean? He helps.
Well, that's the thing that's beauty about the Senate and the team is that you may not know what that insurance term means, but he may not know like how to sleep outside. Okay, I'm just kidding because Senator Johnson, his idea of camping is a Ritz-Carlton. So, I mean, it works, right? It just works. So you don't have to be an expert on everything, but you have a specialty in certain things, and he does too. So it really works out, especially with the small business portion of what you go through.
The commerce is my section. And Danny and I, we would just lean on him heavily for insurance.
Right. Yeah. And then it's a really good group because then you have Danny who has the lawyer in the criminal law profession. So he understands the penalty portion of it. So you guys did a great job this session. You got that bill across the line, and very proud of what you got and the work that you had done. So the Senate, we said, put together 32 Happy Meal bills, and 91% of those Happy Meal bills passed the House.
I like that Happy Meal portion.
It makes sense. I don't know. I mean, omnibus. I mean, I know that's Latin, and I guess really I should say omnibi, not omnibus, because I is plural and us is not. But I mean, my Southern logic says let's just call it Happy Meal bill, and then we don't have to worry about it.
That's great.
All right. So, and then let's see. That's kind of wonky. 184 original bills from both the House and the Senate made it all the way through and are in conference. It's pretty big. I mean, if you think about, we're only voting 2 days a week, basically, 2.5, because Thursday mornings sometimes but for the most part, we're humming on committee meetings Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then voting. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's like you said, we start at 7 o'clock, and you may get back and you may have things at 7, and then you've got constituents that have called that you've got to call back before 10 o'clock, and you try to take care of all that. And it makes some long days.
Yeah, it really, really does. Now, speaking of long days, in our last 4 minutes, I kind of want to talk about this one because I'm torn. So preaching and politicking.
Amen.
preaching and a politicking. Now, those of us who have been on the barbecue trail for quite some time knows that a friendly preacher for the cause will just might invite you to homecoming. Right. I mean, you just happen to say, well, we love visitors at Senator Settle, and we're going to have homecoming this week, and we have a good turnout, and we want to feed you well and introduce you to the congregation, and do a little but we can't do politic, and like until this ruling can done, but we can't politic, right? We can introduce, but we got to protect our 501c3 status with the IRS, because folks who didn't like that preaching and politics would turn you in to the IRS, saying that now that you should not have your tax status, or you should have your tax status revoked because you bought and invited Senator Settle over to homecoming. But that's no more.
No, I've heard a lot of preachers maybe preach on certain sins, and they could tie that in to a person that was running. But the ones that I know, they never used those names. But in my county, during let's go back, like COVID, you can lead them, but you can't push them.
Right.
And I know the governor wanted to close all the churches. And I was county commissioner chairman, and they came, said, you've got to close the churches. I said, in Wilkes County? He said, yes, sir. I said, 330 churches in this county. They're not afraid of you, not afraid of me. They're not afraid of the president or anybody, and they will call your name from that pulpit, and they won't be calling mine. And I looked at our attorney and I said, this meeting is over before the word gets out.
Good.
And we stopped it. But they'll preach the sin, but I've not heard them call out, names.
Yeah. Well, now they can.
But they can. And you don't go to church for politics. You go to church for Jesus. So that's enough. That's all you need.
Well, God bless these preachers now. So now there was an IRS on Monday, and a Texas court ruling said that churches and religious nonprofits can make political endorsements to their congregations without endangering their tax exempt status. So God bless these preachers for one thing. I know that politics in our world can be dirty, but there is nothing worse than some good old church politics. I mean, that is worse. So now these poor preachers, they're going to have their church politics, and they're going to have our politics. So hug your preacher on Sunday. Tell him that you love him and her. And then let them know that if they do endorse, make sure they endorse Senator Vickie Sawyer and Senator Eddie Settle. Eddie, thank you so much for being on the show today. Any last words of wisdom to our listening audience?
If they're going to endorse me, I'd like to know who they are first, if they don't mind.
Okay. So you're saying Black Sabbath Church of Wilkes County is not one you want an endorsement from?
There's several I would love.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to We're Just Saying. Had a great time with you. We will be back next week on WAME.
WAME and Bunce Johnson Funeral Home are proud to present our national anthem, Bunce Johnson, where every detail matters. Call them at 704-873-7223 or stop by their location at 705 Davie Avenue, Statesville for your personalized experience.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through